Hello and welcome to Publishing Without Supervision podcast. I am your ever-present Kiwi host, Erica Conroy, and joining me today is my ever-present co-host, Canadian Xavier Granville. Hello, Xavier.
Hello, Erica, and hello, internets.
Well, to all the what is it? I haven't counted how many downloads we've had lately. Maybe I should do that. I was going to say to all 20 people, but it might be more than 20 right now. Okay. Well, let's get straight into this, shall we? We promised to not go any further than 30 minutes because, well, it's a monthly update about our own progress, and there is no guest for here for us to go wildly off topic for. Uh, yeah, we'll see how well that goes. We don't need a guest to go wildly off topic.
It's not required, no.
No, but it helps, and it's a really good excuse. All right,
Yes.
so this is our monthly update. This is the progress we have done over the past month. Should we rock, paper, scissors? Who goes first, Dex?
I can go.
Oh, you can go if you
don't.
want.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay, go for
So
it.
I haven't done too much as far as writing goes this month, and as far as February goes, and that's no surprise to me. That wasn't any kind of like, oh fuck, I didn't get anything done this month. No, like I was purposely putting a bit of a break on the writing because on top of my day job, I took on another job where I'm doing the film score for a feature length film. So usually I've only done short films before, so now it's a full length picture, and it's a lot more work, guys. Yeah, and because of February being the shortest month, it's one of those ones where it seems to be like by the 18th or the 20th of February, you go like, oh shit, I do not have any time left. So it's one of those months where I find it catches up with you so fast. So you really don't have much margin for slipping up. So with that in mind, because I haven't been doing much actual writing, what I have been focusing on is reading a lot more and researching for the series that I'm plotting. So for people who have listened before, I'm doing an urban fantasy series, and it's all to do with several different factions of reality. You've got vampires over here. You got heaven and hell over here. Blah blah blah. All kinds of stuff going on. And the main thing that I've been researching this month, as far as research goes, are the two main setting places where I hold the book. In present day, it takes place in Boston, Massachusetts, and then there are lots of glimpses over into Constantinople back in the 11th century. So like that's it's quite a leap back in time because of one of the characters being an immortal. So as far as Massachusetts goes, I've been reading this one book by Emerson Baker. It's called A Storm of Witchcraft, The Salem Trials and the American Experience. Robert Allison's A Short History of Boston. And then this one that I just am waiting on from Amazon. It's called A City So Grand, The Rise of the American Metropolis, Boston, 1850 to 1900. And those are all kind of based, that's my researching on for the Massachusetts area and Boston in general. Whereas with Constantinople, I've been reading a fiction series. It's one's called Nosferatu by Gerard Fleming. Otherwise, with historical books, the ones that I'm reading is the Byzantium trilogy by John Julius Norwick, and then Byzantium Church Society and Civilization Seen Through Modern Eyes, edited by Dino John. This is going to be Giannakopoulos, something like that. So sorry if I screwed that up, but it's quite the last name. And those are trying to give me a good flavor of what was going on at the time during the reign of Alexius, and what was going on when essentially Rome had was faltering, and to some at the time say Rome had already fallen at that point. Some say, oh, Rome was fine at that point. Depends on historically which side that you're on. But the Orthodox Church in Greece was very much well alive, and it slowly started becoming the central point of Christendom in all of that area of the world. And then the Crusades happened. Yay! So it's a very interesting part of history, and I like the idea of having this one character who lived through it. Mm-hmm. And obviously, with going through all of that, it's going to very much shape how he views the world today. And I really wanted to make sure I get, if not get the atmosphere of the time right, at least get it to the point where this character isn't quite making the same kind of decisions that someone from this generation makes. I want to try to get into that mindset of someone who would be born back then, and then from there evolved to where we are nowadays. Because obviously, like with everything else in history, the things that don't change with time are doomed to just kind of fade into dust. So I can't picture this guy at the same time logging onto Facebook and stuff like that, but I think he'd be stupid not to use a cell phone in modern day technology, that kind of stuff.
And he may not use it well, but
yeah. but he gets the idea behind it. So other than the research side and the one Nosferatu series that I referenced, there's a trilogy called the La Sombre trilogy by Bruce Baugh that I've been reading, and that's very vampire, shadowy stuff. Coyote Blue by Christopher Moore. He's one of my favorite authors. He's this really satirical, funny. He's like an American Douglas Adams type of a thing. Like, it's all very much rooted in sci-fi or fantasy, but at the same time, it's absurd humor and usually grounded in some small town. San Francisco, he tends to set a lot of his books in as well. And yeah, he's just hilarious, just really funny author. And I'm reading that one because I have a character in my series that's a were-coyote. And if you know your Native American myth, Old Man Coyote was essentially the deity was this trickster, and the trickster would always be playing a trick on you in order to either expose you for the little things that you kind of take for granted, or he's trying to teach you a lesson type of a thing. So he's either trying to shame you in front of everyone so that way you get stronger, or he's trying to just give you a smack on the nose, so that way you will be the smarter one in the end. So very much the book Coyote Blue has a lot of that kind of thing in the way that they portray the Old Man Coyote character. Christopher Moore just paints it as, of course, if this mischievous deity is just running amok around Arizona. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Otherwise, the other two books that I'm reading are Stormfront by Jim Butcher again, because, I got to read it again.
Yeah, well, he's huge in your genre, so, and he does all of the different vampires and shit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I appreciate that with how he kind of structures his world. And yeah, he does have a lot of fun stuff where he brings in like the fairy courts and stuff like that. And that's a lot of stuff that I am really into as well, as far as the some of the Celtic mythologies and the weird fairy contracts where you would see these types of your Rumpelstiltskins type of a thing where, yes, I will spin your straw into gold, but you must give me your firstborn child type of a thing. Like, those are the type of fairy legends that really inspire me as far as what you would, I think that has a lot of potential in modern day writing, because to me that sounds like a drug dealer or a kingpin or the kind of a guy that, he just always has the one up on you and he controls everything, and he has his, little he has his fingers in every pie around the town, because everyone owes him because of his dirty contracts, and everyone is always under him for something.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, yes, I have a mean Fey type of gangster character in my in the book, and he's kind of like a sub antagonist, like just kind of a guy who's in the background for now. For now.
Sounds like
Yeah.
he could come forward into the forefront and become a main antagonist.
Yes, definitely by book 3, I imagine. And then the last book I'm reading is The Broken Sword by Paul Anderson, or Paul Anderson. I don't know how to pronounce it. He's of Scandinavian origin. But yeah, it's a great book so far. It's very much in the line of Norse mythology as far as Thor and the shattering of his sword and the world tree. So it's a lot of fun, and unlike a lot of fantasy that seems very either Tolkien or pre-Tolkien or post-Tolkien, where everything was either elves and dwarves or it wasn't type of thing. I like the fact that this one doesn't have much of that European in that English sense of a it doesn't feel like the type of tale that would be told in the European Middle Ages type of thing, as far as dragons and sorcerers and wizards and stuff like that. It's very much more in the line of what you would hear as far as those old tales from the Scandinavian areas about trolls and stuff like that. It's very different, but at the same time, a lot of fun. And the language used in it, is really fascinating.
Okay. Wow, man, you've not written, but you've done a lot of research.
You should see my desk, like one by my bed. It's just covered in books.
Well, you put me to shame, man. First, I'll get my excuses out of the way. You can obviously tell I did not achieve my set upon task for the past month, which was to finish the first draft. No, that did not happen. But my excuses only cover part of February. You see, if anyone who has ever had a migraine knows, they suck, and you can't always do a lot of shit while you have a migraine. And our weather turned really weird for about 2 weeks in February. So for about 11 or 12 days, I had migraines practically every day. So much so, I went to the doctor and said, we've got to do something about this. And so I'm on something now and have not had a migraine yet. So let's hope that continues to happen. However, I think they might be affecting my antidepressants a little bit. So this is a bit of a facepalm moment. And yes, I had a wee episode yesterday, which was not fun. So that was another reason why we did not record yesterday like we usually do.
And if you can't tell, I am sick.
Oh, that was a nasty cough.
It's real. That wasn't fake. I am really good at just acting, and don't worry, I'm okay.
Okay, well, that sounded like a tiny little dog. A little. Yeah, so he was sick, and I required my husband to come help me out basically yesterday. As for writing, I did write a few words, but I basically wrote about the same number as January, and I'm not going to tell you how many numbers of words that is because it's too embarrassing. To help me try and get this shit sorted, I have a carrot and a stick. So my carrot is I'm not getting my hair done until that draft is done. So if you can see on the video, my lovely regrowth here from my bright pink, my now looking candy floss colored hair. It's no longer bright pink or orange. The lovely regrowth and the long hair that needs to be shaved back to a number 2. That is not going to be happening until I have finished the first draft. However, this carrot has been used before and didn't quite work. I just went to the hairdresser anyway. So we have a stick. And my husband's decided to help me out with this. But I said to him the other night, I'm going to need a deterrent because remember when we talked to, who was it we talked to just the other week about stickk.com, that website where you post what your goal is and you put down what a wager it is, like something really awful you don't want to do, like donate lots of money to a charity you hate. Well, I was like, I can't really play with money because it's mostly not mine, so that I wouldn't care. So I was thinking about, well, what don't I like? And I really, 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 really do not like Marmite. I mean, I know I come from New Zealand, which, you know, was one of the countries that totally love Marmite and Vegemite.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Vegemite either, but Marmite's the more well-known brand. Anyway, so if I haven't written and you can tell how much I don't want to say this because, you know, once it's on the air, you guys are going to hold me accountable for this. But basically, if I don't get the draft finished by the next monthly update, I'm going to eat a Marmite sandwich on the next monthly updates podcast so you can see how awful it is. And I was like, but so I said to my husband, this might be something that would work, but I don't want to go out and buy a jar of Marmite because neither of us like Marmite. There's no Marmite in the house because it's like, but it's a waste of Marmite. And he says, well, you could get one of those really, really, really little ones. And I was like, eh. And he went shopping the other day and came home with this present for me.
Oh no.
So yeah.
Oh, yeah. To those out there that don't know what it is, the comedian Billy Connolly once described it as licking a cat's ass.
I think a cat's ass would probably taste good. To be perfectly honest, what it is it's basically, I don't know, it's a yeast-based product. So you're essentially just eating salty
yeast. And
oh, yuck, maltodextrin.
Yeah, and you just spread it on toast, eh?
It says it contains derivatives of barley and wheat. But it's like a really high amount of your recommended daily intake. I'm like, fuck you, mama. You know, it even says on the container, go ahead, dig in. And I'm like, no.
And it also says made by Sanitarium. That's always oh.
My husband said maybe you could put the Marmite on a Wheat Bix biscuit, which is just essentially flaky wheat stuck together. And I was like, no, it doesn't really have the same unappealingness as a Marmite sandwich.
I don't know. I think just a big old spoonful of it would be enough for me.
Oh, you know, if you want to see me vomit. So yeah, there we go. We've got my carrot, which it's a really nice looking carrot, to be honest. But we know from past experience is not enough. And the stick, which, you know, I might as well just put a stick in the Marmite and yeah, I better do something. Maybe I'll keep track of my word count on the on our Twitter account to show I'm doing something. Although knowing me, it'll probably be the last 3 days before the show. I'll be like writing. It doesn't have to be this many words, does it? It can be less.
Yeah, I had not thought of that, of something like that, where you just torture yourself like that if you don't get it done. I think I've had Marmite before, and I didn't love it at all, but I didn't hate it. I think that if I were to do something like that, it would be pickles. I have a thing about pickles. I can't stand them. So if I'm not going to say that I'm going to be doing it, but maybe if it gets to that point next month where
you haven't written anything again.
Where I haven't written anything. Yeah, hey, maybe I'll do a pickle challenge, and then you will see me throw up. You will see me throw up. There's going to be no question of that.
We have a bucket nearby, and we'll try and do it off here, but you'll hear it.
No. I'll mute it for your sake, for the listeners.
Might be good because you vomiting might start making me vomit. It doesn't take much.
And that'll just make the internet's vomit.
Yeah, we'll have this huge repeating vomit chain. It'll be really bad.
Yeah, go on, just dive in.
So yeah, so apparently it's gotten that bad. I haven't been able to write all that much, and I really don't know what is wrong with me. I mean, I do actually have the time to write, right? But it's not happening. And I've seriously been thinking. You remember when we had the second episode with Chris Fox on, and he actually said to me, Erica, are you a writer? And I was like, yes. I'm really wondering if I am or not.
Well, but I think no matter what, it's one of those things where, as far as the schedule that a self-publisher has to keep up with, that's not everyone has that, and that is much harder than what is as far as a traditional published deal is. You have the liberty of being able to write your book over 2 years if that's what their advance is allotted for. So I don't know, but I don't have any metrics by which I can judge anyone as far as their writing career, because I don't think that anyone should be comparing themselves to any other else's success. So, and at the same time, you talked about how you've had a lot of medical stuff this month. So, yeah, there's.
I would be happy if I never ever had a migraine ever again. But I think every migraine's afterwards.
Yeah, and I'm with you with the migraines. I don't get them as often, but yeah, when they do happen, it's like good luck getting anything done that day. No, that's to me that's a day where I'm just going to be listening to Terry Pratchett audios.
Oh, I don't know if I can do that. It's some days it's like my symptoms seem to vary, so sometimes I'll have like the vision issues.
Yeah.
Once I had a really weird one. I was seeing shapes like I was looking through a kaleidoscope. It was really fucking bizarre. You can't do anything when you can't see properly.
Yeah, a friend of mine has ocular migraines too, and yeah, like that's what can you do about that? Like it's gonna totally throw up your perception, and if your perception's off, then well, okay, good luck typing. It was I'd watched a documentary the other day on Terry Pratchett talking about his when he was going through his Alzheimer's, because he had a special type of Alzheimer's that was I think it's called PDA. It's all in the back of the brain, and it doesn't remove memories. Like eventually it would, type of a thing like all dementia does. Like eventually you'll start kind of getting in the way, but rather than being the type of thing where that's the first areas where it attacks, it starts attacking your vision and your hand-eye coordination and little spatial differentials. So like little things just like how far away is the cup and stuff like that. And the first time that he noticed this type of a thing was when he was writing and he couldn't find the key of S. Like he couldn't find the S key. It was right in front of him, but he couldn't see it. And it took his assistant to come over and just go click. And
yeah, if I can't find a key, I think I'd be freaking out.
yeah, exactly. So, but that's just it. Like, when your body or your mental status or whatever is not up to stuff, it's not a question of should you be trying to put all your energy into art that day. Well, no, you should probably resting.
And that's what you basically have to do to get over a migraine. Take the medication if you've got it and pray.
Yeah, in my case, for whenever I've had migraines, it's only a waiting game. You have to just wait it out, and you have to and sometimes it will be a day or two, and those are the worst. And you want to just friggin' stay inside that friggin' black abyss of a bedroom.
Well, yeah, basically I was having showers in the dark, all the blinds closed during the day. Just, I might have had one, and also I didn't want one, so that was me trying to prevent it. And then there was the days when I had two, and I was like, I I can look back and laugh of it now because I can't remember how it feels like. It's like.
Yeah, no.
I miss the days when I used to have one every 2 years. I mean, where the fuck did those days go?
Yeah, no, I've noticed that with age, I've got them more often for sure. I remember having them when I was a kid, but it would be once every year, every 3 months or something like that, when the seasons change or something like that.
Okay, people, it seems to be somehow seasonal or weather related. So it was good to find out that I wasn't the only one having migraines around the same time in February. It did seem to affect quite a lot of people, and that's thanks to Facebook. I can find that out.
Yeah, and like the past 4 days, I've pretty much been in bed, other than one day that I went out and saw some friends, and even then I was all pale as a ghost, and my hands all sweaty and coughing and stuff like that.
You're pretty pale anyway. I mean, you've got that Canadian paleness.
Yeah, true.
But mind you, I'm a pasty white person. That's healthy for me. No melanomas or anything. You get a lot of melanomas in New Zealand. It's not good. I'm healthy pasty white.
Well, and just it seems right now, like the end of February, early March, like it's everything's melting here, so everyone's sick. Everyone is sick here. Like it's ridiculous. When I went and hung out with my friends, 3 out of the 5 of them were sick, independent of each other. We hadn't seen each other for weeks, but we were all individually sick from different people.
So does that mean you swapped illnesses?
Probably. We probably made it and formed a huge giant super virus, and now it's going to kill us all.
It'll take the children first because they're always the sickest and get the sickest most often. But this is a good point. I mean, taking care of your own health as an author and a self-publisher. If you can get a flu shot, I highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
I hardly get a cold or a flu. If anything, it's my husband who gets colds. And he comes home and he's like really annoyed that I don't get sick, but he also doesn't want me to get sick. But yes, anything you can do to prevent it like that. And of course, people say exercise and eating healthy. Wow, that's my second goal. I'm still failing there. I did eat somewhat healthily today for lunch, and I will be tonight because I'm home cooking. I'm home alone for the next couple of days while my husband is up north for work for a silly little strategy. No, it's not silly. I'm sure it's useful and helpful.
I did not eat good today. It was my mother's birthday, so we all had like big cheesesteak things that I made. So yeah.
And cake, right?
No, it was just like a big, trust me, when the size of the sandwiches, you wouldn't want to eat afterwards.
Well, I made this yummy I had leftover Turkish bread. So I grilled some cheese on it, and I made some bacon, and I made some homemade coleslaw and some tomatoes and red bell peppers, and it was yummy.
Sounds yummy.
And tonight is homemade chicken Thai green curry.
Delicious.
This is what happens apparently when my husband goes away. I eat home cooked food. This is my problem, my husband.
But coming back to it, ultimately we can't be beating ourselves up when it comes to things like health and stuff like that. And even my always the biggest thing is anxiety when I'm not getting stuff done. Because that's the double-edged sword or the catch-22 of it, because you feel unmotivated because you're not getting anything done.
Mm-hmm.
But then that you would think that you just need a kick in the ass to be able to get that thing done. But sometimes it's so overwhelming that you just kind of backpedal and you spiral back onto it, and it can kind of. And he ended up being, too lethargic to even do anything. So,
yeah, that's totally it. Or I'm like, I've got to do work tonight because I haven't done any today. So I really, 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 really got to do work. And then it's like, hello, internet,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we need a therapist on for an episode to talk about stuff like this.
Yeah, that would be interesting if there was some sort of book out there on just like the writer's psychology.
I'm sure there is. I'm
Oh
sure
yeah.
there is. Yeah. So we're just in a continuing spiral that we somehow have to work out how to break. So the carrot and the stick, we are one attempt to pull us out of that spiral. And X, if you haven't written any words by the next update, I'm totally going to hold you to the pickle challenge for the next one. Especially if I don't make my goal and have to eat this shitty dark brown. Why does it have to look like poo? I mean, really smeary, sticky poo.
I don't know. I really don't. It's a fun invention though, and it's fun to make fun of.
Oh, Marmite. Yeah, it makes you think it's like it was. I don't know anything about the history, but it makes me think of it was probably created during a world war when there was a food shortage or something, and they were trying to, like salt sandwiches, that kind of thing, like those kinds of things that cropped up back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. Like it sounds like the kind of thing like with like cheese or something like that. Like that old story of like the first man who had cheese was he had walked around in the desert with a cloth of milk in his kind of just like tied to his belt type of thing. But he just didn't drink for too long. And by the time that he got halfway across the desert, he had cheese.
Yeah,
because it's just the open exposure to the bacterium in the air type of a thing. Like I could so see Vegemite being one of those things where just like, or like with rising bread, because like there's a legend saying that the first person who was making bread just kind of was like beating down grains and adding water to make brick and mortar kind of stuff. Like he was just trying to make a building, but by mixing the right certain types of grains and with water and forgetting about it and just kind of leaving it off to the side, eventually those grains rose into the flour and became the first sourdough bread.
And who decided it would be a good idea to eat something that was meant to be a brick?
Exactly.
It's as dumb as how did the guy who found milk from cows find out that was, it's one of those. But we're not going to invent anything like that. No, our task is to write.
It's true.
I think we're not going to be
doing anything revolutionary this year.
Well, I do have other work to get done, but like I said, I do actually have the time to write, unlike X at the moment. So I really should be doing it, but something else always comes along. If this is not wiki clicky, then it's
clicky wiki.
Yeah, wiki clicky. Everyone suffers from wiki clicky. Doesn't even have to be on a wiki to be wiki clicky. But yes, no, we should move along. So, what are you doing this month, March? What are your plans regarding your goals?
Well, I've as an update for the last time that I talked about my series, I've added 2 characters on. So I'm going to finish their 7-act structures, so that way they all kind of make sense. And it kind of went from being because originally I was having a single protagonist, and then I brought in this immortal Constantinople character, and I'm like, he's way too cool to just have me showing up at some point. And then I realized a 2 protagonist or 2 viewpoint thing almost seemed a little too back and forth. And because it's male and female, it just seemed like the 2 separate stories when ultimately they are supposed to kind of end up getting together as friends and eventually working together. I didn't want to keep having to go back and forth between just the 2 of them. So I added some more characters, and now it kind of has more of that serialized HBO Game of Thrones type of thing. It is a little bit more head jumping, but but it's all, like I said, set within the Boston city area, so it's all going to be individual self-contained stories, but it's all overarching into one major thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so you get to see different aspects of things. The characters, like there's one's a weird coyote, isn't he, or is that the immortal?
Yeah. There's the first story is a kind of a summoner woman, kind of she's like a what was usually called a witch. They're more of the kind of Gaia-esque shamans of the world, those types of things. So her and her friend, the were-coyote, and he's kind of like the goofy friend that could, probably you never knew had feelings for you, kind of thing. He's that guy.
Oh, as long as he doesn't turn out being the nice guy.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
No.
That's the last thing you want from a main character.
No. He's too much of a trickster to be a nice guy.
Okay.
And then I have the story of the immortal Constantinople guy. And yeah, he was at one point he was a member of the Roman Catholic Church, and then he was turned into a sin eater, which is just like a type of what the Catholic Church was created when they were experimenting on vampires. So essentially, he can enter into a room and he can assess whoever is the most guilty immediately, and can either forgive you of your sins, or he can just suck it out of you and leave you as a just like a raisin, essentially. So he is a holy knight, but at the same time, he could be a monster at any time.
So he's probably one of those ones where they like, we created you, but now you're somewhat evil, but we still need you, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And the Vatican is still very much still trying to keep control over him, because you swore yourself to the church that many hundreds of years ago, and you're still kicking. So do your goddamn holy duty.
Yeah, you're with us till you die.
Yeah, and and then the other two that I added are a female vampire who is on the side of the bad guys. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm using her as the viewpoint to be able to show off what is kind of going on for the antagonists without actually following the antagonists. Mm-hmm. And obviously, this girl will come back in later books. Whether she becomes an ally or an antagonist, we'll see.
Unaligned.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other character added is a private detective who is a changeling, and they're essentially in as far as the Scandinavian myths was at one point in history you were kidnapped by the Fae, some sort of elf creature, and so this man was taken as a child. So there is a man that looks exactly like him in the real world, but it is a fake. It's just an amalgam of just a bunch of sticks and fairy magic put together that thinks it's a real person, and he's come home to his, to the real world after being stuck in this fantasy world for so long, and he's become a private investigator and is now investigating his own Fetch's murder. And the Fetch is the simulacrum, like the thing that was created to replace him. So he's investigating essentially his own murder, but it's the thing that was replaced, that replaced him.
And that also gives you the traditional Dresden kind of urban fantasy angle to it as well.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And his partner is like a ghost hunter kind of a thing. So like they're this weird, kind of sci-fi espionage fringe type of agency type of a thing, working out of Boston, and so it's eventually more and more the shaman character and the immortal character will come to work for this agency eventually.
Okay, so it's quite wide ranging. You could get quite a lot of books out of the series in theory.
Idea.
As many as Jim Butcher. I think he's aiming for 28, right?
Something ridiculous, yeah. He set the bar high, I think, because he said immediately, like right off the cuff, was like, yeah, it'll be this many books, and now the fans are holding him to it.
Yeah, well, he's picked up another series as well a few years ago, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, he's got
that he's
3.
now alternating between. So that, of course, is traditionally published. So that takes a year or two for a book to come out for him. Unfortunately, I think I've stopped reading his books, though. Yeah, sometimes you just lose interest, and I think I've met that point. Whereas my husband will still keep reading. Oh, another thing I want to share before we end this, and I realize we've gone over half an hour and broken our promise already. Whoopsie! But I had one of our listeners approached me to be a beta reader. I think her name is Holly, and I said, sure, yep, that'd be great once I've finished the book. And she's releasing her own cozy mystery, a paranormal cozy mystery book that'll be coming out in the fall of the Northern Hemisphere. I say of the Northern Hemisphere because it's not going to be the fall where I am. I don't even say fall. I say autumn. I don't know why I said that. She said fall. So, yeah. And anyway, so once I have something, that's another person I'm going to be accountable to. She'll probably make me eat the Marmite too if I don't get it to her in time. The book, not the Marmite. So I'm looking forward to that because I'm still not sure if I'm writing a cozy mystery or not, but I don't care. I'm just writing now, just getting the words out. And I basically explained it to her as it's a New Zealand based, specifically in Wellington, the capital city of New Zealand, a New Zealand based cozy-ish mystery where the protagonist is a lovely lady who has she's like I was going to say user tester, but she's not a user tester. She's one of those people that you hire to kind of break into your office and test your physical and digital security and stuff like that, both internal threats, so someone who might be working for you already, or external threats like someone just wandering in, because you'll be surprised how many people can wander into a building. Scary shit like that I've been learning when I go to hacker conferences. Mm-hmm. Every time I go, I get a little more scared. And anyway, so she solves murders and mysteries that happen around her with the help of her work colleagues in IT security, or with the help of her friends from her D&D group. So there's Dungeons and Dragons, and go really geeky. And the hooker who lives just down the corridor from her at home, he's a guy as well, and he looks really nice. And of course the local police detectives. So we have two of them, and one of them's who's sometimes fuck buddy. So we'll see how that goes. And the typical friends that are a little bit odd and goofy, and because you get a wide range of diverse characters in IT, I'll tell you that.
For sure. No, that's cool. Like, and going back to what you said as far as not caring about whether it's cozy or not. Like, I think that ultimately that's what the mentality you should have for the first draft, at least, because the more that I kind of am looking and writing more of and researching the series that I'm doing, like, more I go, is urban fantasy really what I'm talking about, or is this dark fantasy, or is this just straight up horror, or is this or is this that kind of line in between, type of a thing. So, but ultimately, these are the types of things that the audience will call you on, and sometimes that's a good thing, because your beta reader might be able to tell you, even if it's not a cozy, it still is this, type of a thing.
A type of mystery, definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
There is a body or two, and there is having to figure out who the murderer is. So
yeah, like, and I could see a lot of the, like, because you know your tropes and you know the individual things that should go into those types of things, it will come out, accurate in the way that you portray, because you've, from execution to the finish, it will it will make sense. Will it be cozy? Well,
yeah.
that remains to be seen. But ultimately, what it will be is definitely Erica Conroy.
Well, it'll be whatever pen name I decide
to use. Whatever pen name you decide to use. Yeah, and that's just it.
Yeah.
Like, it will, whatever it is, it will be your next piece of art, and that's really the important thing, because that next piece of art is going to be the starting point for your next piece of art, which will be for the next piece of art. And hopefully we can just keep getting in the habit of finishing things. God damn it.
Oh yeah, that was like the first thing I ever had to do for publishing, was to actually finish writing something first so I could publish it. But this is something I think I've made out to be too much hype and too huge, because it's the start of a new possible pen name. It's the one that the book I hope that will help kick things off, and I just think I'm overthinking it and stressing, and I shouldn't be. I should just write goddamn word spew and get it over with. And if I think it might be a bit cozy mystery, I'll just go back and take out all the swear words.
Yeah.
Because oh man, my characters would probably fucking swear all over the show. Actually, it's not that much swearing. It's more name calling at the moment. But yeah.
But yeah, like, and who knows, it might just end up being the type of thing that like, that's what people are looking for, like, because that's what a lot of good mashup things do nowadays. Like, someone I'd seen the other day saying that this is kind of like the riff generation, or this is the amalgam generation, where we're like, all stories have been said before. And then Neil Gaiman had just come back saying, like, I bet you Shakespeare was thinking the same thing. He was like, or like people around his time were thinking the same thing, because he would present them with Hamlet and he'd be like, yeah, well, did you read the Odyssey? That was good. So why do we need this?
Well, we need this because as authors, we want money and to share our stories and stuff. But okay, so we'll see each other next month. Well, me and X will see each other sooner, and you'll also see us on the podcast in between. But we will update next month. Also, a quick shout out to anyone who wants to do any book promoing. The promo for the new adult romance is closed, but we're still taking submissions for crime, mystery, and suspense promo for any book that is 99 cents and over 200 Amazon pages. We will also open the submissions for the historical fiction one, which is for free ebooks only, no page limit on or minimum for that one. And I'll soon be opening the promo submission for the sci-fi, fantasy, and horror for 99 cent ebooks. Again, at least 200 Amazon pages, and you can find all the information for that on Date, like you're going on a date night, datepromo.com. Yeah. I think that's it. We are publishing without supervision, PWSpodcast.com, and we will see you soon. What do we say to everyone, Xavier?
Good night, internets. Hopefully we won't be back with pickles and Marmite.
Good night.